r/AskReddit. What's the most expensive mistake you've ever made? Paying for medical school for my wife who then divorced me at the end of residency. Sounds like my sister who was supported by her ex-husband through a law school. He worked at a hardware store in high school, became a manager and eventually a district manager. He isn't fancy or glorious, but he paid 100% of the bills while she went to college and paid for most of her schooling by restoring cars and selling them on the weekends. He worked his ass off, and literally within weeks of her passing the bar exam, she divorced him. He was so confused. She graduated with no college debt, and they were set up to have a great life. She ended up marrying a complete asshole who she suspects might be cheating on her. But hey, he makes a lot more money, so at least she can be miserable in luxury. They drive around everywhere in the nicest and newest automobiles yelling at each other, and their kids are miserable too. She is dealing with major depression issues and is a total bitch to be around. And the new husband is a psycho who is only talkative or nice when he wants something from you. I still hang out with her ex. He is a great guy. I feel terrible for what she did, and I feel bad for you. I hope her new marriage is miserable and causes her soul-crushing depression. I still hang out with my cousin's ex-husband Hank. Guy married her when he was deploying to Iraq. The whole time he was gone she's posting Facebook pictures with the same guy in many of them. Usually her and her friends at a club, and this guy in the background. Or a group of people and he's there. Hank was totally oblivious to it. Trusted her. He gets back and is discharged and starts working as a diesel mechanic. Cousin stops working so she can focus on homemaking. My cousin basically fed off him. They bought a house. She got a new car, then divorced him and took the house, where she lives now with Facebook guy. The funny thing is, my cousin now has to work because Facebook guy is a convicted felon and can't find a job or won't find one. And part of getting the house was she fully took over the mortgage after 3 years. Hank is making tons of money and is dating a really great pediatrician who thinks he's the best guy to walk the earth. He's very happy, while my cousin is always complaining about how life is unfair and how she's still waiting for her break in life. Great story. I love the little karma here and there. Wasting my $11,000 inheritance on God knows what. I don't even remember. You spend a little here and a little there, and next thing you know you're broke and homeless and could really do with a safety net, but you were careless and it's now gone with nothing to show for it. I feel that. I have started budgeting, and this year I have already spent $2,000 on non-essentials. I don't know how. I don't have these things. Where did the money go? Mainly snacks. That used to happen to me. What I did was tracking everything I spend money on and sticking to the budget. Now I'm more aware of where my money is going and almost debt free. Shot my dad's pistol at a rock wall. Ricocheted into my leg. $20. 000 hospital bill. The All-American Cup. Not expensive for me, but for the state. I used to work for the Division of Forestry dispatching firefighters to wildfires. 2 roads on opposite end of the county had extremely similar names. Took a call from a guy reporting a fire on White Pine Road. We were already on site for a fire on White Pine Lane. I said White Pine. We have a crew on the scene already, sir. Came in the next morning and saw that there was a new fire on the map. White Pine Road. 700 acres. Whoops. Sounds like a road needs a name change. / I suggest Pines of White or charred remains because the pines are probably gone anyways. Whoops. Well, my dog ate my underwear once and then I paid $2K for her stupid ass to stay alive. The most expensive literal piece of shit underwear I ever owned. Similar thing happened to my dog. She took a sock off the drying rack and swallowed it. Cost nearly £1,500 to get her back to normal. She's such a donut. She's such a donut. Super sweet. But with a big empty space in the middle. More like super sweet. But something I spend way too much money on. Fortunately, donuts and my dog are the two things in the world I'm willing to spend too much money on. $1,000 couch from a furniture store that was going out of business. It fell apart in a year. I have one of these going out of business places near me. They've had those signs up for years. Here is a daily dose of a life lessons. I didn't get health insurance at work because it was too expensive, and then I got 3 different cancers 3 times in 1 year. Oops. Cook meth. A $4.400 engagement ring. Edit. So hey, I have this really nice engagement ring. If anyone wants to buy it, let me know. I barely dodged that bullet. Several years back I was madly in love, and we talked about getting married all the time. One day we even started ring shopping, and I had one picked out, but hadn't purchased it yet. Then we had a fight and she f***ed someone I hated, because she knew it would hurt me. She was right too. Oof. Sorry you went through that. Mine was everything was hunky dory. The engagement was fantastic. She said yes. And it was just an all around great time. Then 4 days later I woke up to her sobbing uncontrollably in bed. Because she was absolutely terrified at the prospect of marrying me. Because she didn't think I was the person she could be with forever. So that was a nice gut punch at 2:30 in the morning. I'm sorry that happened. Man. That is tough. And I hate to say it. But it's better that it happened at that point than after marriage, or kids, or anything else that would make it worse. You'll find someone who is right for you. Just keep doing you. Not me, but a coworker of my boyfriend. They were working at a Boy Scout camp in Arkansas teaching technology. Someone loaned them a drone to use while they were waiting for the one they bought to arrive. The coworker took it out to fly in the woods. Drone flew out of range and tried to return to a predetermined spot. The owner's house. The owner's house was unreasonably far away. Drone died and got lost in the woods. They tried to track it by GPS. It said it was off the coast of Madagascar. The coworker spent hours trekking through the woods trying to find it and never did. Dude, just turn the remote camera on the drone. Maybe we can get a landmark indicator or something. Sees 10,000 lemurs jumping around singing I like to move it. The New York Giants. Sold a house that I was renting out and covering expenses. Wanted to get in before the taxes increased. House appreciated significantly more than what I would have paid in taxes over the next few years. Probably missed out on at least $200K of gain. Had to sell within the first 3 years of moving out to eliminate taxes on the first $500K of gains over the purchase price. I lived in it long enough to see the value go up significantly. Seems like you still came out ahead, and that's what matters most. It's like all those people saying they wish they invested in Bitcoin when it was 10 cents so they could have millions now. But most likely they would have sold it at 50 cents anyway. Bought a franchise. Lost around $250K and had to sell my house. It was an awful time in my life. Subway? Nope. It was a tech business. It demonstrated perfectly that being great at it does not transfer to being great at sales. I didn't know tech can be franchised. At store or something maybe. Borrowing money for college for 4.5 years. That is eligible for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, assuming you meet the undue hardship criterion. Please don't downvote before googling. Very hard to get student loans discharged through bankruptcy. Getting into Magic the Gathering. Try MTG Arena. I have been playing for about 6 months now and love it. Hadn't played Magic in over 10 years and immediately jumped back into it. I haven't had to spend a dime on it. Everything is free unless you want the high level hats. No more keeping up with tokens, life totals, or the meter. The game keeps up with everything for you, so games are much faster. Used to work at a research lab. Knocked over a cart with $200k in samples. Explains the past tense. A few years ago, I was working at a media production facility situated on a large industrial lot. The person who owned the lot was letting his friends, a hippie couple, park their bus/home near the back of the site, which was where my studio was. The people who associated with our facility were generally well-connected/trustworthy/successful people, so I didn't think much about it, and I became friends with the couple over the course of a year. I found out they couldn't leave the lot because their bus wasn't repairable. One day, the boyfriend told me they found the perfect bus for sale. So I drove with him out to the lot where it was being sold and inspected it with him. The problem was he and his GF wouldn't be getting paid for a couple weeks, and they needed to confirm the purchase in a few days or the owner was going to sell it to someone else. You can probably see where this is going. The boyfriend asked me if I could float them $1,000 until their next payday to buy the bus and to get the old one towed away from the space next to my studio. I had just been paid decently for a project and had become good friends with the couple by this point. So I said yes. The boyfriend offered to give me a broken old motorcycle as collateral, which I appreciated, but told him to just get me the money the following week. When I returned to work the next day, their old bus had been towed, but there was no new bus in its place. Just a decrepit motorcycle leaning against the fence. I tried to get a hold of the couple, but my messages went unanswered. Calls went to voicemail, and eventually their number was disconnected. I sent a message to their joint Facebook account, and after a month or so they replied, saying that the motorcycle was the trade we agreed on for the $1,000. There were some angry messages back and forth, but it was pointless. They skipped town, cut contact with the owner of the property, and I never saw them again. There's a Bruce Springsteen interview, I think it was with Mark Maron, where he tells a story about getting swindled in New York after a show. He said it forced him to reassess the energy he was putting out into the world, since it had made him such an easy target to be taken advantage of. Needless to say, I had to make the same reassessment about myself. TL. Doctor got grifted for $1,000 by damn dirty hippies. Elegant TL. Doctor. Not me, but my parents, not using a condom. They still have time to fix it. Uh-oh. 12 years ago I fell asleep at the wheel while working my job 8:00 am. After having been working already for 4 hours. I was on a country road, went into the ditch and hit a culvert that flipped me 5 times as I went back across the road the other way. Truck was totaled obviously, and I destroyed a row of hedges on someone's property. I'm not sure the total damage, but the company's insurance covered it all. Definitely over $30 G's though. I came out with no injuries. No other vehicles or people involved beyond the owner of the hedges, who came out and helped me call 911. Super lucky, and now I would never drive that tired ever again. Putting about $5,000 into a shitty car that still has problems. Let me guess. An RX-8. No, an 07 Jetta Wolfsburg edition. I had the same problem with my 08 Jetta Wolfsburg. After a ton of expensive repairs we finally got rid of it last January. I guess my ex real name was Jetta Wolfsburg edition. Who knows? I put my now ex girlfriend's name of the deed of the house I bought. She's turned out to be an abusive and miserable person and cost me tens of thousands of dollars. Why? She was pretty and I was an idiot and thought it would make her happy and nicer. I used to flip houses. One day there were all 2 houses in a really good neighborhood. One needed minor cosmetic improvements like carpet paint and fixtures. Another investor also wanted it, So it was settled by a coin flip and I lost. I was determined to get one. So I made the mistake of buying the second house. It needed a complete down to the studs renovation, like you see on HGTV. It was much more complicated than any previous project I'd done. And it kicked my $. 6 months later, after working 6 days a week, fighting with contractors and city inspectors, I sold it for $0. 0 profit. Last flip ever. TLDR, I bought the wrong house to flip and wasted 6 months of my life for 0 profit. Well, at least you didn't end up owing money. Too many first time flippers end up in the hole and pay for the experience for years afterwards. Yes, I was much luckier than smart. I was one of those dumb shits who played Pokemon Go while driving the week it came out. Totaled my car. Broke my arm. Ended up with a $20,000 hospital bill after my car insurance paid. Made some beginner's mistakes on the stock market around 2008 and that costed me $7,500. Now looking to get back in. Buy. Diversify. Hold. Buy for long-term gains. And don't sell it because of a recession if you can at all help it. Since then I've been working at a bank. Learned a lot. But you need money to make money. Investing in pyramid scheme. Tell more. Well, me and this pyramid named Steve schemed to end the world with an incurable virus. About a decade ago I bought 10 BTC when they were $11 each. Spent them all on some shrooms on the Silk Road. //ashnoregrets. Had a fun time with friends. Holy shit. Your $110 could be $78 to K right now. Yeah, but it's not so bad. The only reason I had the spare cash as a poor uni student was due to an unexpected inheritance from a friend of the family. So overall I still feel pretty lucky. You've reached the end. You're a star. Destroy the subscribe button for more like that.